Hello everyone, welcome back to Python basic training. So we are on third day. So the previous two videos are already uploaded and they are available on my channel in the playlist. You can go through if you are landing on this video directly. Okay, I would recommend you to go through those so that you understand the flow and also the basics along with the installation and the configuration part. So you can practice along with me by the side. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of it. Okay, so in the last session we talked about loop. um, okay, we talked about if condition, if else if. Okay, and we also performed two exercise, the basic exercise, not a complicated one. And we also saw how we can take multiple inputs in single line, and how we can minimize the whole if and else if loop into single line. Okay, so you can see here, and how we can bring down the whole 5 lines of code. Okay, here it is 5 line. If you write it in again in a normal standard format of if and else if, it will go for another uh, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6, almost 6 lines of that itself. So 6 plus 3, that is 9, 9 plus final print. So around 10 lines of code we reduced it to 2 lines of code. So that was very effective, and we covered most of the topics we spoke in the last sessions through these examples. Okay, so please go through and comment your doubts or any error that you are not able to solve from your end. Okay, so we'll start today's session with the iterative statements. Okay, to begin with the for loop. So what are iterative statements? So something you want to do repeatedly until the condition is met. Okay, and then you decide, okay, once that condition is met, whether you want to continue or you want to come out of the loop. Okay, that is something you can decide in between when there is an iteration ongoing, or you can fix the iteration till certain condition, and then automatically the execution stops once the iterations are done. Okay, let's say I want to print number till 10. Okay, and then I will go on iterating through the loop. So iteration is nothing but same lines of code is executed until the conditions are met. So that's loops, you can call in general terms if you want to. Okay, so first example we will be talking about the for loop. So for loop does what? So we have already seen in the previous examples here, when you are taking input from the users, instead of taking each variable, right, each value in a single variable 3 times, you can write it using the for loop into one single line of code. So we saw those example. I'll just go back to the previous slides where we have written that part. Okay, so for example, somewhere here we wrote tick tick tick. Do we have it? If not, I have it in my visual code, I'll show you there. Okay, no issues. Okay, so again here again the for loop also can be brought down to only one line of code, like how we did it with the if. Okay, but we'll practice the standard format and then we'll try uh, the minimized or the more expertise way of writing the for loop. Okay, so what it does actually, we'll see through an example. Okay, so let me comment this part down. We don't want to start here, we'll come back to this code later on. Okay, so for example, now I will take my count equals to 10. Okay, for I in, so I is any variable. Okay, you can take any variable in place of I, just a counter that is keeping track of the number that every time the loop is going on. Okay, so we'll take I in range of 10. Okay, since we have spoken about the range, I think that will be a better example for us in this case. I in range of 10, we want to print all those numbers. Okay, so I'll quickly run this. So let me clear the terminal and then run it again. Okay, so you can see it printed from 0 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 and 9. So you know the range, it doesn't consider the last value in it, right? So that is about how you are going to use for. Okay, similarly you can also write for a while, but we'll go to that loop again. but for now we're talking about the for loop. Okay, similarly we have the while loop, and we also have in the next slide talking about the break statements and continue, how we can pass and how we can delete the initialized variable. Okay, we'll talk about the scenario, what is the use of it, when, what, at what point of time you would use this. Okay, so we'll see how we can reduce this. I think we are talking about another example, right? Taking the multiple variables. See, you have this line of code here which we spoke about this example in the previous sessions. So I'm taking three values, and here I have used for loop. Okay, and instead of writing it in a multiple lines, I have written it in single line. Okay, similarly you can perform for any for loop. Okay, but it depends on the scenario. Okay, I hope it's clear for you. Similarly, how we can do the while loop. Okay, I'll just comment it down here. Okay, I want to comment it separately because we will come back to this line of code. Okay, so single line, multiple line comments, we'll keep on using whatever we discussed in the previous sessions. Okay, so that we don't lose the hands on them, and we keep on recalling those concepts one or the other way. Okay, maybe not directly going back again in depth, but we'll keep on using those concepts so that we keep on we don't lose the hands on. Okay, that's the main goal. Cool. So if I'm writing a while loop, let us say, let me keep the count equals to 1 initially, while my counter is less than 10. Okay, what I will do, I will go on printing my value I, and every time I want to increase the value. Okay, so let me run this. Sorry, let me stop the execution. Okay, let me run, clear the terminal here so that we see what's error we are getting. Okay, so while I is 10, so what it says, I is not defined, do you mean ID? Okay, I don't think we have any uncommented code before. All right, okay, we'll see. We'll initialize I equals to 0 initially. Let's see if that solves. So yes, so it's giving us still 9. Okay, so what this line of code is doing, since I is a variable, we are already initializing it initially to 0, and then we'll go on increasing that value. So this is the increment uh, line of code that's happening. So I equals to I plus 1 is, I think you guys remember, we usually write in this format, but the better way is how I have written here. Okay, so I plus equals to 1 is nothing but I equals to I plus 1. It's a one or the other, it's the same thing. Okay, so similarly, how you saw how we can generate from 0 to 9 using for loop, here I am generating from 0 to 9 using the while loop. Okay, so just get familiar with the syntax. It's more or less the same, but how you use it, that matters. Okay, so now we'll talk about the break statement. So what does the break does? So whenever you are writing in any kind of in a loop, the break statement is there. It means it will break the iteration and it comes out of the loop. Okay, let us say I'm printing my name, my address, my email address, and then I'm going to generate my phone number, random phone number. Okay, 10 digit number, so in range of 0 to 11 I will generate. Okay, let us consider. Okay, let us take from 1 to 12, so that we have no number starting with 0. Okay, so everything starts with 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any number in that range. In that case, what happens, once I'm after the loop, I'm generating the number, I want to come out and say, okay, this is your final number, or these are the numbers that are generated. Or let us say, okay, I want to take input from user asking for which one you want to select, or what is your recommended or most wanted number, of certain combination of digits, anything of that sort. Okay, so I have few lines of code in the beginning, and then I have a loop, and then I have another few lines of code at the end. So what happens? The execution goes on from the line one, and then comes to the for loop, and then it goes into the loop. It executes, it meet the conditions, do all the actions that is there within the for loop. It can be print statement, or it can be some calculation, anything. The moment it comes and meets at the break statement, it comes out of the loop. So whatever the iterations happen till then, let us say I'm generating in this example from 0 to 10, right? So 0 to 9 numbers will be printed in my output, but the moment this condition is met, I equals to 5, so it comes out of the loop. So what is generated? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is generated. The moment 5 is met, it will come out of the loop and it will only give me the final output till 4. Okay, we'll quickly see an example for that. Okay, we will remove this. So if I is equals to 5, what we want to do, we want to break. Okay, and then outside the loop we want to print. So let me execute this one. So you can see here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The moment the condition is met, the iteration stops there and then comes out of the loop completely. Okay, so I'll just have one more statement here, beginning of the loop. Okay, not beginning but before the loop, and then one statement outside the loop. Okay, let me clear the terminal again and then we'll run. So it's clear for you. So before the loop, it started with 0, 1, 2, 3, all those iterations were happening and it was printing or doing the action that is there within the for loop. And then the condition came saying if I is equals to 5, break the iteration or break the flow and then come out of the loop. That's what happened. Okay. It is very simple, like how break remains the same, be it in English meaning or in Python meaning. Okay. So similarly, continue. Okay. What happens if I'm using the continue? We'll see an example and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Instead of break, I will use continue. So what it does? What is the English meaning of continue? Which means okay, you continue what you're doing. Don't stop anywhere. So what are you expecting? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 also should be printed, right? Because we are not stopping or skipping that number. And then 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's see if that is the output we get. Yes. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So what it did? It started from 0. It went till 4. It met the condition, and it immediately went to the next iteration, right? So continue means okay, it will skip the current iteration and it goes to the next iteration. So that's what it did. Okay, so break completely comes out of the loop, whereas continue statement, it skip that iteration and then go to the next iteration. So there is no exit from the loop, there is a continuation within the loop. Only thing is it is gonna skip that particular iteration and then continue with the next one. Okay, I hope it's clear for both break and continue. Okay, so if you want to print something before you want to say continue, let us say I will print this is inside. Okay, this is before. Sorry for the continue. Okay, let me clear it out and then we'll run again and you'll see okay 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 number is not printed because we want to continue with the next iteration, not with the current one. Why it is not printing 5? Okay, let us say in case I want to print that I value before I want to say continue, then of course you will have a 5 in your output, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a statement and then we also have the 5 number and then continue. So the moment continue is met, whatever is there before that, even if the if condition itself had an action. So in this case, the if statement had an two action items, that is one to print the statement and one is to print the high value itself, right? So till there, all the actions will be performed, but whatever the actions are there post continue, what is there? Again, we have to print the high value, that is skipped and went to the next iteration. So next iteration will be continuing with the 6. So if it is meeting the condition, no. So continue will also not come into the flow. So directly it will print 6, 7, 8, 9 likewise. Okay. I hope it's clear. In case, I want to say pass. Okay, that is another statement. I clear the terminal and then run this one. Okay, we'll remove this. What's the use of pass? Pass is something that you use when you are not sure what to do. Okay, or maybe you want to just not break the flow of execution. You want to continue with the next lines of code, and maybe in the future, or maybe at the end, or any point of time, you want to come back and design the logic for that, or you want to decide later on what you want to do with that. Okay, let us say I'm adding sum of two numbers, but I don't know what to do with that sum, so I'll skip it for now using the pass statement, so that your execution doesn't stop at any point of time. It can continue with the next logic of code. Maybe I'll use the same numbers and do the multiplication, and then at that multiplication I will divide by some other number. There I know what to do with the result that I'm getting, but in this case, in sum, I don't know what to do with that added value. So in that case, I can use the pass statement and then go to the next actions. Okay, so what happening here? 0 1 2 3 4 till 4 it came, and then it is printing the statement, and then it come across a pass statement, and then it is not stopping, neither it is not breaking, it's not exiting from the loop execution or the iterations, nor it is doing saying a continue. You're not going to skip the current iteration and then go to the next one. So it is simply going to the next statement. It is like either you have it or you don't have it, the output remains the same, right? So let us say I comment, okay, and then run. So you can see here what we had: 0 1 2 3 4, and then the statement, then 5 6 7 8 9. How was the output earlier? 0 1 2 3 4 and the statement, and then 5 6 7 8 9. Same output, because it is not making any difference, but it is ensuring that okay, you don't have to stop here because you don't know what to do, right? So you can have those paths, and then you can later on, if see, whenever you write a code for the real application of the product, it won't be a just 10 lines or 5 lines of code. It will be sometime hundreds of, okay, 600 700 800, many, and it is calling other functions, other files. So there is so much of interlink. So how are you going to search, okay, which line I have left it, thinking that I'll come back and write the code further or write the logic what I need to do. So in such cases, the pass keyword will help you. You can easily identify wherever there is a pass statement, and then you can come back and alter accordingly. Okay, that's the advantage of using the pass. Similarly, you have other variable. Okay, let us say in this case I'm using I value, and then I'm not going to use that value anywhere, right? Because like I already mentioned, whenever you're giving any variable name or any name, let it be meaningful. Okay, so this I x y m n l, okay, greater than m greater than l, this is all the old days, or we can say when you are practicing. Okay, so here I am using because we are practicing, we are not writing any code. But if you are writing any genuine code for any of the application or product, it is always recommended use the meaningful names. And there is a standard way how you have to use the variable name also. Okay, please go through that in the Google. You will find a lot of articles and what are the conditions, how you should write, and many organizations have their own separate standard. Okay, so that the variable names are more accurate to that organization. Okay, so please do check before you start coding on any original or genuine kind of an script. Okay, take a note of that. And we have also spoken about the indentation in the last session. Okay, so you can see here how the indentation is marked by the line by the side. Okay, if loop, it ends here, right? So inside the for loop, if is the one statement, and inside if, this is the statement. So what's happening, a tab of space is getting added every time there is an indentation. Okay, if and this print statement are in same line, they are not, this print is not within the if, it is at the same level. If you're considering it as an hierarchy, you can see these are at the same hierarchy, whereas for is at the topmost hierarchy. Okay, or the outermost, and then this is the one inner. So if you have another condition, it might come here and it can come here, so likewise. Okay, to understand it better, you can type and make an error and see how it behaves. Okay, and we have already seen some examples and we spoke about this in the last session. Okay, cool. So in case if I want to delete, right, so I have some variable, I don't want to use it in further, so of course I and any of those numbers will not be used further, so we simply delete that number, right? So why you want to keep that variable? It was just used for temporary base, we'll keep it temporary. We don't want to waste our time around again using it anywhere, right? So I will just comment all this. We'll see only particular this example. Okay, so what happening, so the variable x is 10, I'm initializing and then I'm printing the statement saying what is the value before I delete it, and then del x or del variable name is the syntax. Okay, and then after it is deleted, I want to print the value again. So what are we expecting? We are expecting an error here because if you have deleted the variable, it doesn't exist anymore or doesn't hold any value. Okay, the memory is released, so it should give us an error. So let's see. So you can see here, before the deletion, value is printed, and then the action is delete the x that happened in the background, and then what we have another action after that saying print x. So x is not defined, of course, because we deleted. Okay, that's how we can use it. I hope it's clear. If any questions or queries, please feel free to put them in the comment. Okay, we'll talk about the access character of a string. Okay, it's quite important, and we have one exercise also so that it clears your confusion. Okay, and then we have some more other string operations. Okay, which are mainly go on the index side, or you can talk about comparison, concatenation of those two. How are you going to remove the space from both the ends or only one end, right? Because whenever I'm typing a name, first name, last name, it should have some space. Okay, but it should not have any name at the left end or the right end or both ends of the string. First name, last name, when I'm putting them together, I don't want space at the end. Okay, the space can be there in between, but not at the end. So how are you going to remove that space? All that you can do. Okay, so here also in the yesterday's example, we have seen how are we gonna split. Okay, we were splitting them using the space. When we were taking input from the user for the three variables, we were splitting those values by the space because user was entering the value using the space. If he's using a comma while entering the value, let us say 10 20 30, so 10 comma 20 comma 30. So in that case, what I will do, split, and then I will give the comma separate. Okay, so this tells, okay, these values are separated by comma, and each of those values should be taken and put them into a different variables that are allocated. Okay, okay, we'll not go back to that example, but we will talk about the string and other operations how we can do. Okay, to start with, we want to talk about the index, how it is being defined, or how it is designed. Okay, so we'll go back to the previous slide, access character of the string. Okay, so I think this is the one we are supposed to talk. Yes. So index, remember, always starts in string from the zero. Okay, start from zero and then goes on. So zero is at the left. So when you're reading the string from left to right, the index starts from zero, and then whatever the length of the string is there. Okay, let us say Python. So what is the length of it? Python 6, right? But your index starts from zero. So there is always length minus one is the last index for the last character in that given string. Okay, I hope it's clear. But if you're reading it from right to left, then the index starts from minus 1. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. There is no reduction. So reduction is nothing but again minus 1. You have to reduce 1. Minus 1 is nothing but minus 2. Right? And then minus 2 minus 1. Simple mathematics. But don't get confused. Okay. So negative indexes starts from right to left. Positive indexes are there starting from 0, not from 1. Starting from 0 from right to left. Okay, so we have an example here. We are taking string 1 as buddy, and then we are printing the index value at the 0th position. So what will be there? B. In case of minus 1, we are coming from right to left. So what will be the character? Y. We can also define where to start and end can be free. Okay, like in range. When I say range of 10, so it automatically start from 0. If I say range of 1 and then 5, it will start from 1 but end at 4. I can also define the frequency, right? Similar way, same operations or same kind of feature is available with the string also. Okay, so what I can do, say in the string s1, I want to start from 0 and then go till certain index value only, or I will leave it blank, which means it is understood. Like how in range, when I leave the rest of the frequency or the start point as a blank, I will only say range of 10, then it will print me what? 0 to 9. Similar way, when I say string 1 of 0th index to begin with, but I don't know where I want to stop. I want to stop when the string ends. So in that case, I will leave it blank. So it starts from 0 and then go on printing whatever the value is there. In case of this string, buddy, I am starting at 0th index and then it goes till end of the string. Similarly, if I want to print negative coming from that side, I can do that also. So that's what the exercise we are going to do. So, okay, in this case, take any string from the user. Okay, don't hard code it for your practice. Okay, but if you're doing it quick, if you already got a grip on taking input from the user and converting it to different data type, you can hard code the value and then store it in certain string. In this case, I'm storing it as a body s1, and then I'm gonna iterate. Okay, like how we did each iteration of the character in that given string. Okay, so when we said, remember, for I in range of 10, what it does, every item is considered for each iteration. If there is any conditions again within the for loop, then that character or the number will be skipped, and then we go to the next one. Similar case here, in the s1 string, each of these letters are considered as one character for each of the iterations. Okay, that's what you are doing. X holds value for the first iteration, b next it holds the value of u, and then d and then y. Okay, so what are we doing? We are first trying to print the character of a positive index of the given character. So b value, what will be the index? If you're going from left to right, it is 0, but if you're coming from right to left, what is the value? So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, right? So we want to print the index either from right to left or left to right, keeping it constant, but we want to print the value of it. Okay, that should be our print statement, along with how are we going to format it. And like we saw in the while loop, we want to increment that value. All right, the I should also be incremented every time it happens, then only we can print the value of it. Right, so quickly try this one. Okay, I will also quickly copy this, and then we'll run and we'll see. Okay, try to write the print statement using the f string. Okay, just for your practice, which is a good, gives you a better options. If not, even if it is a standard one, it's fine. Okay, either way you want to get the output, that's the main goal. Okay, so my eye is there, and then I have a statement, then indentation starts, I'm printing. Okay, formatting, and then I'm incrementing the value, and then what is my s1 equals to body. Okay, okay, I will clear the terminal. I hope you guys were able to write the code. Okay, while you are practicing, please make sure you pause the video and then try it out, and then come back to see what is the solution to it. Okay, don't go by side and see the solution immediately. Okay, cool. So what it is doing, so it's going for the first letter b, the character position at positive index and at the negative index is. So we have to insert three values into this print statement. So the first value, automatically however you are formatting, it will take the same order. Okay, that's a you have used this kind of print statement in other coding languages. Okay, if you are not aware of the print at all, please go again for the first session. I think we spoke about the print statement. But if you're completely new and still confused, let me know in the comment. We'll try to cover one separate session for a half an hour or some 20-15 minutes talking about only print statement. Okay, but it only, I can only do that if you guys are telling me, okay, we need one separate session. Otherwise, I'll assume that you guys are well aware. Okay, at least this syntax or the format of print uh, is expected to be known. Okay, f string I still understand. If there are any confusions, okay, so what we are doing, we are inserting three values. So the character present at a positive index. Okay, one value. What is the value we are giving here? For length I is nothing but initially it is at 0. Of course b is at 0. Okay, and then I minus 1, or length of s1. So what is length of s1? 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 minus 5. So 0 minus 5 is minus 5. Okay, so 0 and then minus 5, right? We discussed this one. 0 1 2 3 4. But when you want to come from right to left, -1 -2 -3 -4 -5, right? Remember, length -1 is always the last index when you're going from left to right. Okay, so that's what we are using the values here. So I initially starts with 0. So your positive index 0, and negative index, what we want, it should be -5. How are we achieving that? 0 I value minus length of s1. So length of s1 is 5. So 0 minus 5 is minus 5, and value is what? X. So x, like I said, in the first iteration, the value the x contains is b. Next iteration, we are increasing the value 1 because we are done with the b, defining the positive and negative index of it. Similarly, we go for u. So this time what happens? 1 is the value for the positive, and I value is what? It's 1. So 1 minus 5 is minus 4. So minus 4 is the second value. And then this time the character that we are trying is u, the second one. So the x holds the value u. So we are printing that u. Okay. Similarly, it goes for d and then again d and then y. Okay. I hope it's clear. Cool. If not, please pause, take a time, try to understand the code, try different ways if you want to. Okay. But main aim is how are we gonna trace through the string by index, and how are we gonna print them, reverse them. We'll see those operations, but that's the main aim. Okay, don't concentrate too much on the for syntax and all. Of course your for syntax has to be correct, then only you can write or execute and see the expected code, but otherwise make sure you understand the concept well. Okay, now talking about slicing. What is slicing? Like, again, general English term. So you want to cut, right? You want to cut into small pieces, or any size of the pieces. It's, let us say, you want to cut into pieces. Okay, slice of a bread. So there are so many slices, right, in one bread. So it's usually the one single piece, and then it is cut into small pieces. That's how we call it a slice. Okay, slice of a cheese, slice of a bread, something like that. So here also slice of a string. So you can cut at each character. Instead of having it as a one word, you can make it as one letter each. Python p is one, y, t, h, o, n. Each of them can be sliced into single character. Or I want to py as one slice, and then th as one slice, and then on as one slice. So three slices I can do. Or I can cut it at the mid. So anything. Okay. So similar way how we are gonna do using the Python. So S1, like I said, if you're not giving a start, if you're not giving a end, if you're not giving even the frequency or the order, reverse, whatever it is. If you don't give anything, by default it will consider from left to right. So it is automatically giving us whatever the string we have. But in case of second example here, you are seeing slicing we are doing, and then we are not giving the beginning or end, but we are giving, saying that okay, minus one. Minus one means it will start from left to right. Okay, so that is why you are seeing the reverse of string. So instead of going through each letter, storing them in another variable, keep on appending and then concatenating, and then you want to print the final, that's so many lines of code. Or you have to break your head writing that logic correctly, right? If you have not done it before. So whereas Python, using Python, it's within a one line of code and very quick, that you can use minus one at the end of the string operation, and then immediately your string is reversed. Okay, I hope it's clear. Quickly print those. We'll remove this part. Okay, and print s1 of, we give nothing, and in the next case we give minus 1. Okay, and print it. So you can see body here and reverse. Okay, it's clear. We'll not be talking much uh, upon uh, beyond the string operation concept. Okay, because the next operations or the next one is the list, which is important topic. We want to cover it in a separate session so that it's available at one place. Okay, you don't have to go through somewhere, start in the middle, search for where the list concept starts. Okay, what other things? Check the membership. Okay, what it means? So you want to check whether Python starts with p or not. Okay, or let us say in Python, do we have o letter, do we have desired, or let me say, by any chance in the given username, do we have any numbers? Do I have number one? Okay, in the given phone number. Do I have number 8, which is my lucky number? I want it to be there at any point, any place. It's fine whether it starts or ends in middle anywhere, but I want to uh, verify if it is there or not. So the return will be always boolean, true or false. Okay, we spoke about this boolean values also, right? It's one of the data type. So in this case, what it is happening, my string is Python. It is checking here whether P is in yes, P in Z in yes. So of course Z is not there, it is false. So I can use this as an if condition also. Okay, so for example, let us say string one will keep the string one itself. Okay, for I in s1, if, okay, let us say P in I or s1, anything is fine. And then we want to print the I. Let me execute this one. So what happened? B U D D Y, everything got executed, but this condition never came true, right? So because P is not there in the string body, so it never came true, and that's why we don't see this statement coming. But if I say, let us say D, okay, so D is there. So what happens? We don't have break, we don't have continue, we don't have pass anything. Okay, more or less it is like a pass statement again, but don't get confused. The purpose is different. Okay, so we don't have any of those conditions anywhere, so it has to print us everything. So let's see what will be the output. So P is present. Okay, and then we got a P, right? And then we got P is present again. Okay, so every time you are going through this one, the condition is met, right? Are we comparing with each character that iteration is happening with? No, we are checking every time whether D, letter D, character D is in this given string or not. So every time the condition is met, so every time it is printing. That is all happening, right? So that's why you are seeing the P is present statement coming in our output every single time. So how many times the iteration happened? It came all those number of times. So 5 characters, 5 times it is there. Cool. I hope it's clear for you guys how to check using in operation. Okay. Cool. Comparison of string. So again, it is uh, what do you call this? Capital, small. I'm not getting the word, but it's a you have to be. It has to be an exact match. Okay. It cannot be a mismatch even in case of mm, be it capitals, be it small letters in the string. Okay. Let's see that example here. I think we have one here. So again, P in S1, Z in S1, second true, true, false. So I have string 2 Java, Java, okay, and string 3 S1 is equals to equals. We talked about this equal and a double equal when to use. Equal is to assign the value, double equals is to compare. All right. So I'm comparing S1 and S2. So Python and Java. Is it going to be true? No. What about S2 and S3? It's going to be true. But is S2 in S3 true? Because it is matching exactly. But we'll change the small letters into caps and then we'll see how what will be the output. Okay, so I will remove this one. I will take s2 as Java, and then we'll take s3 also as with small letters Java. Okay, so we'll see if s1 equals s2. Okay, what are you expecting? Should be false, right? Yeah. And what are we gonna expect when you are comparing s2 and s3? Let's see. Okay, both are Java, but let's see. Okay, print s2 in s3. Again interesting, because what we saw here is different. Keep guessing the answer. Let's see if you guys get it. correct? Okay, I'm printing. Let me clear it and then run again. First one is false. Yes, we know it already because it's clearly not matching. Okay, we are again comparing S2 and S3. Like I said, even the caps are the small, it should be an exact match for you to get it true. Okay, though it is Java and Java in both S2 and S3 string, but if you observe, the first letter is caps, J is caps here and J is small here. Okay, and of course, when you are trying to check, even if it is S2 in S3, it will be a false again. Okay, I hope it's clear. I'll make it capital, and then both of all three I think will come true. Okay, yeah, true and true. Okay, cool. Removing from the S, like I said, right string, right strip to remove the spaces from the right hand side. IL strip, left hand side. Strip to remove from both sides. Again, it's an English term. You should know what is the purpose. That is it. Okay, and there is no special keyword or special word that is used in Python coding. It's a very general term, but you should know where you are using and how you are using. Okay, we'll quickly add some space here. Okay, we'll remove all this. First, we will print the length of s1. Okay, so that you know, including the space, what is this? So, what is this? 5 letters plus one space at the left, one space at the right. What I will do now, s2 equals to, okay, s1 dot l strip. Okay, I hope the syntax is correct, but we'll see. And we'll print the length of s2. Okay, so you can see. Okay, let me clear this terminal and then run it again. So what happened? 5 plus 6 plus 7, including two spaces, the length is 7. When you are stripping, I'm doing the left strip. So the initial, uh, the space at the left hand side at the beginning is removed. So of course the length reduced by 1. If I am doing the same, let us say S3 is equal to S1 dot, right? You can print those. Okay, you can print those and see whether the space is removed or not really. Okay, but yes, I would say yes, it will be removed, of course. That's why the count is also reducing. Okay, even here we should see number 6, so length is 6. Okay, 766. If I'm removing from both the side, okay, we'll directly print. Okay, we don't want multi lines, right? We want to reduce it. Let's do that. Length of, what are we going to do? S1 dot strip. Okay, so what it should give? Only 5. So 766 and then 5. Both the spaces at the beginning and end are removed using the strip function. Okay, whereas here right space is only removed using r strip, and l strip is for only removing the left side spaces. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, you can print those values and you can cross check. Okay, I will leave it you guys to try that. And next is finding substring. I think we already did somewhat to get the boolean value here, p in s1 or not, right? You can also use a finding of substring. Okay, similar value you can expect. Okay, so s1 find a letter a. So in a, do you have s1? No, right? In Python we don't have a letter, whereas p, yes. So you are getting 0 as an output. Similarly, find y at 1 and then 4. Yes, it is there. So 1 and 4 is nothing but, okay, starting from index 1 and then you are going to check till the index 4. Okay, so instead of one letter at a time, you can also check a string in a string, right? So I have full address and I want to check whether Bangalore or India or anything that is there in the given address or not. So that also I can do. So we did the same example here. S2 is equal to some string, and then I'm saying what is the s1 index of s2, at what index my keyword is there in the address. So it gives me the index of it and how many times it has repeated, right? That also you can do s1 count of and then you want to replace that. Okay, let us say I want to replace, if it is everything in small letter, I want to highlight it using caps, or if everything is in small letter, I want to make only the first letter as caps. I can replace whenever I find my substring in the given main string. Okay, so here you can Python means Python is fun. Okay, so we'll quickly do this operations. Let me copy. Let's not spend more time typing it. Okay, but you guys, of course, no option, please type. Okay, so my S1 is Python, and then I'm trying to find. Okay, let's run this one. We'll comment to one of the function at a time. So -1, right? It's not there. So next is what? Sorry, print. Okay. So what are we expecting? P is there. That's why boolean value is 0. At what index? At 0th index. Okay. Again, we'll want to print find array. Every time I'm skipping P. Getting added here. We'll run this. What are we expecting? 1 and 4. It is there at 1. Cool. Similarly, S2 is by THO. I want to find whether it is there in at one index. So T starts at what index? 0, 1, 2. So it should start from 2. So my value is 2. Similarly, count of it, right? Count of n, how many times it is there in the Python? One time, right? So expected value is 1. We're getting 1. Replace the whole S1 string and then print it. Ooh, Python is fun. I hope it's clear. If not, please practice. Take your own string. Again, you can club all those concepts we learned. Take input from user, and then maybe let you yourself or the user in this case enter spaces. Then do the strip, remove those spaces. Then you perform all these operations. It will be interesting for you guys. You will also get a small hands-on. So that will be the exercise at end of this session. Okay, take an input from user. Okay, make sure you check the data type, don't get confused, we spoke about it in second or first session. Okay, and then you are going to strip. Okay, remove the spaces, and then you will perform all these operations. Okay, take two strings from the user. Okay, in single line, let's see if we can do that, and then store it in two different variables, s1 s2, or string 1 string 2, value 1, name, age, whatever you want to call them. Okay, and perform all these operations. Good luck with that. Come back and visit the video if you are confused or having any issues. Okay, with that slide, that is the exercise for you. Okay, one exercise is pending on you guys. So we'll talk about the next one, split. So yes, I think we already spoke about it, right? When you're taking input from user, split by space, split by comma. So here what we are going to do, okay, s3 is my string, and then I'm going to split it by space. I'm giving nothing, so it prints me Python is easy. It becomes 3 letters. Okay, I want to see quickly what will be the output, how it looks. We'll try it out. Okay, Mhm. Let us comment till here. Okay, s3 Python, and then we're calling some variable x, and then we are printing it. Let's execute. Okay, so you saw Python is one value, e is one value, easy is one value, so it is splitting by the space. Okay, if you have it by comma, let us see. So here also it will split by comma, and then give me the same output. Okay, it depends on what is your string and how you want to split it, using comma, space, or any character. Let us say I want to split everything by t. It will split py as one value, and then t, and then further all the values, right? So for example, let's do it quickly. T, and then I'll give you. Okay, so py is one value, hon is easy, everything is another value. Okay, cool. Joining the strings. Again, very simple. You have already done it using concat operation, right? I think we saw those examples, but you have also specific join function to do the same. Okay, so I have three values in the variable ABT. Okay, Python 3 and 11. I want to join them. Okay, using what? Using a dot. Okay, so what it does, it will print Python 3.11. Okay, let me quickly copy this and run it. Okay, ABT, I have three values. Okay, that's the set we have, but we'll talk about it in the next session. Ta-da. Change this one to single quote. That should be good. Okay. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Python.3.11. Okay. It's clear how we are going to join three different strings into one string, like how we are using split by existing value within the string. In this case, there is no existing value. You can introduce or you can inject your own new character within the string. Okay, and make it a different string altogether. Okay, this was not the input anywhere. Okay, but still you join them using a dot. So all those three different variables within that set are clubbed together as a string using a dot option. Okay, converting everything into uppercase, again it's a inbuilt function. Okay, s1 of upper, s1 of lower, it will directly convert your case into one another. Okay, I will not see an example, but I will leave it to you to practice it. Okay, and starts with, ends with. I think we have seen if this particular character is in or not, which is giving us a boolean output. Okay, but to check whether it starts with, ends with, right? Will Python word starts with on? No, but will it end with yes? So again a boolean value. Okay, if you want to check whether it starts with a space, yes, you can do that. Whether it ends with a space, you can do that. And then once you have the validation, if only the value is true, then you perform the string. Right, you don't want to unnecessarily perform on a string which doesn't have a space at the ends. Right, you can use both the concepts, put them, club them together and write a code. Okay, cool. In the previous exercise you can club this one. Before you strip, before you remove the spaces from the entered value as a string, make sure you validate. Okay, you validate whether there is a space at the end. In if, another if, to check whether it is there at the other end. If both the conditions are met, then only you perform the strip operation. Okay, okay, you got another exercise into another exercise. Cool, it will be interesting. Final things, check type of character present or not. If all number returns true if all the characters are alphanumeric. All right, so like I said in Python 3.11 or 3.11, here we generated the string. Okay, we can extend this example using all num. Okay, and say print is all num of, yes. Okay, I think I don't have this one, but yes, these are all the inbuilt functions so you can use to check if it's having a combination of alphanumeric or not. Okay, similarly if it is only alpha or not, is it having only alphabets or is it having a combination of numbers? Like I said, when you have an address, you want to identify the pin code, right? Instead of flat number and other things, you don't. If you don't have a field, so your final clubbed address is just having a street name and then the pin code. So you want to check whether it is having both or not. You can check using an is all num. If you want to check only the address that should not have any numbers, you want to ensure along with the address there is no flat number included and there is no pin code included, only the characters. Then you can use is alphabetic or not. Similarly, in pin code, you don't want anything as in characters, right? There should not be any alphabets. It should be digits. So is digit. Again, same for is. lower or not, is upper or not. Okay, when you perform these operations, you can also check if S1 is lower or not. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, if I'm printing this one, S dot is all num, alphanumeric or not, I should get a value as false. Okay, we have dot also somewhere in between. Okay, if I want to join it just without anything, this time it is true. We can see since dot was there, it is not just alphanumeric, there is also special character. Dot is also there. Okay, but if I'm removing and joining just without using any space or anything, then yes, it's alphanumeric. Let me add a space. Let's see how that behaves. And we'll run this one. Ta-da, ta-da. It's false because again space, special character, not in literal sense. Special characters are something else in your keyboard or anywhere, but talking about it's not alphanumeric. It's not a combination of a digit and alphabets. It's having some other characters also which are not in the list of those two. That's why you're getting it as false. Similarly, you can perform all these checks. Okay. So your clubbed exercise is what? You take an input from a user, make sure there are spaces in the given string, and then what you do before you strip, you perform whether it is having spaces or not. Starts with space, ends with. Okay, you are using a multi-level if and then there is another if. Okay, in the inner if, and then only you are going to do the strip operation removing the space. Then you are going to convert that into Python. Then you are going to convert that into lowercase uppercase using these functions. Okay, and then what you do, you also check whether it is having only the numbers, only the alphabets, or it is a combination of both. Okay, and also you can check okay whether your final string that you are going to store is in lowercase, uppercase. Okay, you can also check is there a space. Okay, returns true if the string contains only spaces. Okay, like how we are joining only by space, or we are going to split only by space. Okay, so if my string contains nothing, it's only empty space, empty string. Okay, then it will return me true. Similarly, title, it will return true if the string is in title case. So what is title case? You can check that. Okay, try it out. Try it out. I would recommend you guys to go through all these functions, try it out, and come back to the next session as in one of the exercise with your queries or be it error or any questions you have. Okay, we'll be starting the next session with this small exercise. If at all you have any posted any queries, if not, our next session will be with the big and very important topics of list, tuple, set, dictionary. These are very important data types. Okay, we have a lot to learn, and please don't miss this part. Okay, see you guys in next session. Take care. Bye bye. Happy learning.